Eric. Eric, just having been part of a World Cup winning squad in India, what is the message to a Proteas team competing in a World Cup in India? What's the message? How do you handle India itself, besides the opponents?
Hi, Zaya. First of all, I believe we're a bit late than we should have been, so I apologize for my role in that being a bit late. Obviously, when I was in the previous World Cup, I was with India, and that's a very different animal to being in India, but part of the South African side. I don't know if obviously the crowds that are going to be at the Indian matches and the interest around that team movement around the country is going to be incredible. We have a tremendous experience now within the squad of India. You know what it's like to be here, not just the conditions, but the hotels, the travel, what's involved with that. So a lot of it are things guys know and understand. I think it's supposed just really then about actually being involved in the World Cup and how one stays calm in the moment and focuses on the things that you guys probably hate so much us saying is the process. But one of my key mantras as a coach is that if we've got a clear plan, then all you have to worry about is execution. If your plan's not clear, you have stress about what to do plus the execution. So the better prepared we are, the better we are, and that's really been part of what I've sort of brought across. We had Mike Horn with the Indian team, and you probably know him. He's a South African explorer, and his message to the Indian team at the time was, "If I don't prepare, I die." So what stress are you guys talking about? Preparation is crucially important. It takes away some of the stress.
Thanks, Zeke. Thank you. We're going to go Nathan, then Johan. Nathan? We're struggling to hear Nathan, so we'll just jump on to Johan next, and then we'll come back to Nathan.
Hi Eric, have you been to the pitch and are they using the black turf this time, or was it as similar as the last match South Africa played last year? I know there's a difference between the two turf, the black turf and the kind of reddish one.
It's black turf. It's got quite a lot of grass, and I saw it yesterday, but we were still 2 days out. The curator told me that it would be grass, but there would be brown. So there's still a lot of heat and a lot of rolling to be done. It looks like it's going to be a good wicket. That's what I'm expecting throughout this World Cup. The red soil, which as we'll find in Mumbai, that probably bounced a bit more, but also maybe a bit slower, whereas the black soil tends to skid on. This is a new square in Delhi. It's probably about 4 years old, but it's definitely the black soil and a decent covering of grass.
Thanks, Johan. We'll try Nathan again, and failing that, we'll move on to Firdose.
Sure, can you hear me now, Lucy?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Apologies about that earlier. Lucy, just if I may I ask 2 questions or keep it to one?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Good day, Eric. We saw a few fixtures being rained out. Does this get discussed in coaches or team meetings on how you guys want to approach the tournament?
How the rain affects the preparation, the rain out matches, how it affects the preparation.
Correct.
It was disappointing for us. We actually took a lot out of the bowling in against New Zealand, very much around what we wanted to do, the plans and the execution of the plan. So we didn't get caught up too much in the actual result. There were some good things, some stuff we had to work on. And to me, certainly from my discipline, it would be nice to have had 2 games, to have had the game against Afghanistan, to have done the things we did, and then taken to a more match-ready situation with New Zealand. But it's one of those things. All the teams seem to have faced it. It would have been nice to have the 2 games. We didn't have it. We just have to move on. So it just means your practices have a different focus just in what you can do and what you can't do. So it's a little bit more match-specific preparation.
Part-time spinners, or part-time bowlers such as We know he's also capable of standing as keeper as well. Are you happy with the copper bowlers if you can also consider the Australian series ODI performances as well?
Look, I think all the teams are in situations where you want to constantly be improving and moving forward, and that's what we're trying to do as well. But I think in a tournament like this, it's also important to have options. What do you do in a situation? What happens if somebody goes down with cramp? we just want to also understand what happens in a situation like that, or if somebody gets injured, what are our options? The wickets present themselves very differently here. So yes, there was some good progress made in those in the matches against Australia. But again, we didn't want to get caught up in the outcome. I think we got wickets at times that maybe the execution wasn't what we wanted to do, so we'll keep focusing on that. So there was some improvement. Using the bowlers we did was more to do just to see what we have as resources, what else is available. We are going to face different conditions in India, and certain players and certain bowlers that will be effective here might not have been effective in South Africa. So it's always good to understand that from not only a selection perspective, but also in an emergency perspective in the middle.
Thanks, Nathan, for those.
Thanks, Lucy. How's Eric?
Hi, for those.
Eric, obviously you've lost Anrik and Sisanda for this tournament, and I imagine they would have had big roles to play with before. Just taking that in consideration, how important will Kagiso Rabada be, especially given his previous World Cup records, which maybe have underwhelmed?
It's every one of the guys is going to be important. When I think we're going to see a high-scoring tournament, I think we're going to see good wickets, and I think you just need to have every cog in your machine working well when it comes to the bowling. On a day, he's going to maybe go for some runs, somebody else is going to have to step in, and vice versa in other days. But yes, I was asked about Anrik quite a bit when we lost him, and one of the things that he does bring is the intimidation factor. I've sat in, I don't even know how many bowlers meetings and team meetings and batting meetings, and the more the opposition talks about a certain batsman or a certain bowler, the more you're in their heads and the more that you're ahead of them in the game. And certainly someone like Anrik would have been someone they would have spoken about. Likewise with Kagiso Rabada. So I think he is one of our key members. I don't always understand, people like to talk about the leader of an attack. I think he just naturally is somebody with a lot of experience and somebody that our opposition respects. So getting him up to speed and getting bowling at his best is not just important for him, but for us as a unit. But ultimately,
I just wanted to follow up on that in terms of like his actual record at World Cups. Is it something that he's spoken about in terms of maybe wanting to step up as a leader and I suppose improve on those numbers?
Not specifically at a World Cup. Kagiso is a guy that wants to just be the best he can possibly be. So it's every game, it's every practice, every time we talk. We had a long conversation, him and I, about tactics to be used in the death in India. So it's a constant movement and a constant learning process, and every day being a little bit better than yesterday. So I think one of the things that back to the first question, ultimately this is a World Cup, but the more we focus on the fact that it's going to be a match tomorrow or Saturday and it's going to be 300 balls and you're going to bowl so many overs and break it down to this moment rather than what happened in the past and what might happen in the future, the best it is. And certainly that's what we will do. So it is about a constant improvement, and it is like that for Kagiso. So I wouldn't say it's specifically around the World Cup, more just trying to be the best you possibly can be at any point in time.
Thanks for those. We're going to take 3 last questions. We're going to go Morgan, Zahir, and then look to wrap with Neil.
Thanks, Lucy. Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Gerald's a youngster that you've worked with in the past. You've got a bit of a history and massive opportunity for him here at the World Cup, and that progression of his could be quite something that could be valuable for you guys in the tournament.
Again, somebody that can bowl constantly at 140 plus is important in any conditions. He's gonna run into someone's gonna punch him in the nose at some point. I've absolutely no doubt about it. That's what this game's about, and particularly in India. And how you deal with it in those moments is what's important. So I think there was a great learning experience for him against Australia to come up against a very, very aggressive batting lineup. But to see him come through it and to see him come away with ideas and plans, he's a very intelligent cricketer, even as a young guy. He understands his game and he contributes a lot also in bowling meetings about batsmen and opposition. So I do think it's going to be a steep learning curve for him, but he is somebody with the material and the resources to handle it. So I think one of the things that's going to be important in Indian conditions is going to be your pace-off deliveries, and he's got a delivery that we saw against Australia, even in South African conditions, that was quite effective. I think it was Ingles he bowled with an incredible leg cutter, which is, once you get opposition talking about it, you're winning a bit of a battle. So exciting man, because you've got the pace and then the pace-off as well, and then the fact that he is growing as an intelligent bowler as well, which is important.
Thanks, Morgan. Zahir?
Eric, the last time Sri Lanka played an official ODI, they were bowled out for 50. Is that something that, that go onto the field and it plays on the opposition's minds that, you know, that's where they're at. And traditionally South Africa have managed to control their batting lineup. Is that something that you take confidence in?
You know, the fact they got a ball at 50, I mean, that is remarkable, to be quite honest. It's you know, you always have a partnership somewhere and guys get to 110, 120 or something. So it happens. You know, again, we really have to focus on what we do, what we want to do it and how we want to do it. But the fact that a team does come in with that sort of performance, certainly not going to, you know, we're not going to be unhappy about, because psychologically it's going to be tough for them. But again, I think we do understand them. We understand that the way that they bat and how we bowl, and hopefully the way we bowl does not suit the way they bat. And you know, hopefully if we stick to our plans and do them correctly and have the correct field placings, we can keep them under that pressure. But yeah, I mean, the way the game goes, 50 today doesn't mean the same thing tomorrow, unfortunately.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Sahir. And then we'll end off with Neil.
Hello, Eric.
Hi, Neil.
I just wondered whether, as someone who started off as a fast bowler and became a genuine all-rounder, what you've been doing, if anything, to squeeze some runs out of 8, 9, 10, like Gerald and the other bowlers.
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, it's actually something that Rob's got a very specific focus on, and they've been allocated to somebody to look after. So that there's conversations around them in terms of what the role will be. Are they batting together? Are they batting with the top order batsman? What will they do to make sure we can eke out as many as we can, not only for them, but as a partnership? You know, if they're batting with the top order batsman, if they're batting with a David Miller, their role's very different if it's, you know, Shamsi and KG or whatever, whoever it might be. So it has been a very strong part of our conversation around the preparation thinking, Neil, and they have, let's put it, in a way, been allocated to one of the coaches to look after and get preparation done, both from a tactical and a technical perspective.